Hello, 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 this is Evan Rogers coming at you with the knee particle, the location of inaction from evanseasyjapanese.com. Have you ever wanted to know where a non-action takes place? The knee particle will tell you. The knee particle, the Big Daddy. I had no idea what this thing is on my screen, but apparently when you Google the Big Daddy, he appears. I don't know what that is. Do you? I don't. Before we begin, I just want to say that the knee particle is quite possibly the biggest particle in all of Japanese. The number of usages it has outshines almost all of the particles. It's the biggest particle in Japanese. It can mean at, in, by, with, in so many different ways. It has different meanings. And yet, it's just one particle. So, it's the Big Daddy. It's the carbon of particles, you nerds. If you don't get that, then you probably never took a carbon chemistry class. The knee particle, location of inaction. Have you ever wondered where a non-action takes place? Well, wonder no more. The knee particle will let you know. Quick note, action verb locations get de. I used to be a Spider-Man, then I took an arrow to the knee. See, because Spider-Man is sitting in bed and he's not doing anything. He gets the knee particle there. Well, actually, technically, the room gets the knee particle. Or the bed gets the knee particle. Yeah, that's hilarious. You love it. Functions are limited. That's right, the knee particle. Just place it after a location where you might find yourself doing the following: existing, living, and only a few other verbs that aren't really worth showing. It's a very limited particle in that it only works with a few verbs. Verbs that show existence, or where one lives, get the knee particle. This is one of my favorite Calvin and Hobbes comic. The fact that a 6-year-old makes a snowman that looks like that, and he says, I call it the torment of existence, weighed against the horror of non-being. That's hilarious. Actually, an important point. Arimas and imas both mean to exist. The thing that exists usually has a ga particle, or a particle that functions similarly, like wa or mo. The ga particle shows you the subject of a sentence. However, in English, sentences that use these verbs, arimas and imas, usually translated as sentences like there is or there are. Note also, arimas can sometimes be translated as is. However, not capitalized, however, oh my god, grammar. This is different than des, as we'll see in example sentences later. Act now for the low, low price of donating everything you own to Evan. You can find yourself understanding what the following sentences mean. Ohayo shu ni sundemasu. Inu wa soto ni imasu. Or even, teburu no ue ni arimasu yo. Whoa, I bet you want to know what those sentences mean so bad. I'm kidding, you don't have to donate. I'll explain them here. Ohayo shu ni sundemasu. Whoop, now the mouse comes in. Ohayo shu ni sundeimasu. Shu is state. Sumu is, this is the plain form of sundemasu. This is the, what do we call it in English? The present continuous of sumimasu, sumu, which is to reside, to live in a location. Notice, is the verb an action? Do you have to work hard to live at a location? If I don't do everything I can at every second of my life, I might not live in Ohio anymore. No, that's not the way that living works. Thank God, quite frankly, because that would suck. So, because the verb isn't really action-packed, it is a non-action verb. Thus, the location of sundemasu, the location of living, is given with the ni particle. Ohio shu ni sundemasu. I live in Ohio. Technically, we don't know what the subject is, but I did write it, so most likely we're talking about me. Notice how here the ni particle is translated as in, which is totally accurate. Just a warning, it could also mean at or on or many other particles, what do we call them? Prepositions in English. In case you're wondering what these guys are doing, that's, if you don't understand it, then you don't live in Ohio. Which I do. Inu wa soto ni imasu. And let me just cut off the cheesy thing and try to actually sound somewhat Japanese. Note to you, I'm a 6-foot-tall bald white guy who grew up in America. My pronunciation isn't perfect. Inu wa soto ni imasu. Inu, dog, this is inu. Wa soto, this is outside. Ni imasu. Inu, inu, dog. Soto, soto, outside. What exists? Wa. Notice how this is imas, which is the existing thing. We use this, the existing thing. I'm very descriptive. This is the existence verb for an object that can move of its own volition. In another video, I'll talk about arimas and imas and the differences, but just know that because dogs know how to move on their own, they get imas instead of arimas. Where is the location of existence? The location of existence right now is soto, outside. Soto ni imas. What are we talking about? We're talking about inu, the dog. Earlier I said that the subject that does exist gets a ga. However, here it's a wa particle. Why? It doesn't actually matter. It could be inu ga or inu wa or even inu mo, depending on the context. Honestly, it doesn't matter here because this is an example sentence. So, something exists. What exists? The dog most likely exists. Where does it exist? Soto ni. That is how it works. The dog exists outside with 4 exclamation points. I'm kidding. Those don't need to be there. In fact, I wouldn't expect them to be there. This is just me being overly dramatic. Or there is a dog outside. Or the dog is outside. Any of these is... notice how there is a dog outside. This is looks like the regular old is. But if you notice that because we have there is in English, it translates to the dog existing there. This is a little bit different than other ises, if that makes sense. Think about the 2 sentences. She is a woman, and she is outside. In the first sentence, she is a woman. Is she at the location woman? Or does she physically exist as a woman? Well, most likely, since the subject is she equals to a woman. In the second sentence, I said, she is outside. Is she actually outside? Like, is this a really bad Yo Mama joke where Yo Mama so fat, she is outside? She is the being of... No, I don't think that that's what we're trying to communicate. We're trying to communicate the location of where the individual happens to be. Thus, in the first sentence, she is a woman, the is verb would be translated as des in Japanese. In the second sentence, she is outside. Because she isn't equal to outside, we're telling you where she is. That is would be the ni particle. I hope that makes sense. Teburu no ue ni arimasu yo. Sorry, let me try to turn off the cheesy voice for a second. Teburu no ue ni arimasu yo. Teburu no ue ni arimasu yo. Ue. This is teburu for table. No, ue. Ue is above, over, on. And the location of where the thing exists is shown to be with the ni particle. Arimasu means it exists. It's an inanimate object. And I'm adding a little bit of emphasis, or I'm communicating something directly to somebody. A good translation of the yo particle is I tells ya. To some extent. So, we don't know what the subject of this sentence is, but if we just use this knife that I bought from the last sword maker of the Masamune lineage, we could assume that we're talking about this knife. The knife, atawa it, is on the table. I have a question. Is it the same thing as on the table? No. In English, our brains naturally make this distinction. It is on the table doesn't mean that it's not like we're saying 3 plus 4 is 5, like this is 3 plus 4, then this is 5. No, what we're saying is that it exists on the table. We're not saying it be on the table. Ebonics aside. I also wanted to point out that this sentence, there is a something on the table, doesn't happen in English. However, that's kind of what this sentence means with the arimasu. We could translate it as there is a whatever the subject is on the table. If we're talking about knife, we could say there is a knife on the table. We don't say this in English, but that's a valid translation of this sentence. Table no ue ni arimasu yo. Now the location of things can be communicated. Where's the beef? Gyuniku wa doko ni arimasu ka? This is a weird way to translate this, but it could totally work. If you still feel like you're confused about the difference between arimasu and des, or when I was talking about the example of she is outside and she is a woman, try not to worry about it too much. In this video, the important thing to notice is that if something exists or lives at a location or in a location, the location that the thing exists or lives in at gets the ni particle. That's all you need to get out of this entire conversation. If you're still confused as to des and arimas, it's because English is weird. I will be making a video in the future to explain the difference a little bit more clearly. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys and girls. Be sure to check out www.evanseasyjapanese.com for Japanese Skyrim translations, help with the Japanese language proficiency test, grammar lessons, Japanese ghost stories, and even more. Please thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Please share it on Facebook. Tell everybody you know about it. Donations are very, very welcome. Donating money reminds me that yes, people appreciate what I'm doing. Many people don't realize this, but even just making a 5-minute video can take well over an hour's worth of time. Please leave comments in the video below telling me what you'd like to see me translate or do to help you guys out. Thanks again for watching, and have a holly jolly whatever day it is that you're watching this. See you guys. Evan out.